Is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Well, hey everyone, it's Brad Weinman here, and I want to welcome you to this special presentation about how to obtain up to $250,000 of tax-free business and corporate funding. Ari, before we get started, I just want to check and see if you're on with us and do a quick sound check here to make sure that you can hear me okay.
Hey, yes, Brad, I'm here, and I can hear you loudly and clearly. And I'm really excited to introduce this information to your folks, so thank you so much for having us today.
Absolutely. I appreciate you being here. And again, I want to thank everyone for joining us, but I think you might be thanking me in the end because this presentation is going to be a real eye-opener for a lot of you. You're going to hear from two very experienced business credit experts that have literally created millions of dollars of funding for my clients, my subscribers, and over the next hour or so, they're going to show you exactly how that's all possible. So before we go any further, I just want to formally introduce our presenters for today's webinar. We've got Mr. Ari Page, who is the CEO of Credit Card Builders, and Mr. Mike Banks, who's the COO and VP of Marketing of Credit Card Builders. I've personally known Ari and Mike now for several years, and both these guys have extensive backgrounds in the finance and mortgage industry. And as I've said in some of my emails, my wife and I have actually been clients of theirs for over 5 years now. So we've been able to experience firsthand how the entire process works. And we personally received well over 6 figures in funding so far, which has been awesome. They've really created a one-of-a-kind funding system that just doesn't exist anywhere else. I haven't seen it anywhere else, and I'm pretty sure that you will find the same thing. You won't find this anywhere else as well. And fortunately for us, they're going to be sharing some of their industry secrets on this training. So I encourage you to grab a pen and paper and take some notes. And then after the presentation's over, Ari and Mike are going to be available to open up for questions. The other thing I want to mention is there will be some really valuable bonuses that we're going to give out towards the end of the webinar. So make sure you stick around so that you can take advantage of those. Ari, is there anything else that you want to say before we dive in?
Just again, Brad, that we're very grateful to be here. And actually, Mike Banks, the COO, will be on in a few minutes. But yeah, thanks again so much for opening up your subscribers' eyes to this really imperative resource. And as you were saying, we really have helped many of your clients access capital, and our team specializes in doing one aspect of this really, really, really well. We really stand above the rest in one regard, and that is getting our clients not just approved, but getting them the highest approval possible. I mean, we really are leaders in that we create the highest amounts. There's a lot of business credit companies out there, but none that really know how to get the high limits on each individual account. And part of the great thing about this is that we're going to teach everyone who's on the call how they can start the process of accessing $50,000, $100,000, all the way up to $250,000 of business credit lines that could be accessed in as little as 30 days.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty amazing how much business capital you guys are able to acquire for clients every month. And I've had some of my personal consulting clients come back to me and say they've received up to $87,000 in the first week. So I know you say 30 days, but I've found that in some cases it's actually been pretty quick. So
Yep.
I know you guys have a lot to cover. And with that being said, let me just go ahead and turn it over to you.
Got it, and thanks, Brad. And like you were just saying, if you look on our Facebook page, a client, Eric, just posted the other day that he got, I believe it was $117,000 in the first 7 days. But yeah, we really do want to, I guess, what's the phrase? Under promise and over deliver. So there are the exceptions that'll get credit within 5 days, 7 days, and then there's the averages. So 30 days is a good average. So I have a question for everyone as we get started here, and that is, could you come to the questions area and let me know how much credit, how much business credit you're looking to get? How much credit do you need for your business, as well as what industry are you in? If you could let me and Brad know those two things, that would be really great. What industry are you in, and how much credit do you need for investing? And this kind of will help us gauge, gauge the event. So Let's see, I see some questions coming in already. So it looks like Darlene is looking for money for investing, looking for $15,000. Okay, definitely we can help you. Okay, so Helen is in the technology industry. She's looking for, looks like she's looking for $500,000. Okay, so we have Roger from Miami who's looking for $250,000. Excellent. Then Robert is in marketing, looking for 150 grand. And then we actually have another Robert on here also. Offline business, fundraising for nonprofits. Oh, very cool. Okay. So then Roshana's looking for 50 grand in book writing. So Jeff from South Carolina looking for 150 grand, and Don looking for 10 grand, start an online business. Jeff in investing, not sure how much he's looking for. Terry looking for 125 grand for a trucking business. Jerry looking for 75 grand for internet marketing. All right, so then, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mike, Ashley, Andy, Mitchell, Rhonda, everyone else who's given out their, given that to us. Really appreciate that. Oh, look, here's a very interesting one. Gomer is in mining and construction, mining, and he's looking for 500,000 for that. Okay, excellent. Well, we really have a great mix of folks on the call today. And just to let everyone know, we have a lot of clients in all of these very same industries. I mean, we have clients that are in brick and mortars or in startups. We have clients that are making that have 4 or 5 million in revenues. So we really have a large range of clients, and we can really help out a lot of people due to the how wide the program parameters are, and the fact that the banks have stopped. The banks are actually lending out more now than they were even 3 quarters ago. We have a great blog article about it as to why the banks want to lend more through these specific programs. And that's something that you could read on the blog. But for right now, we're going to go ahead and get started. So give me just a second here. I need to change my headset, and then we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay.
So in today's training, we'll be discussing how to effectively leverage business credit, corporate credit, and various other tax-free loans. Only about 4% of businesses out there are actually tapping into this needed component, and quite frankly, this is an extremely underutilized resource. Just by virtue of being on today's call and learning about this resource, you're going to have a competitive advantage over others in your marketplace. Well, we were originally a mortgage firm. Before we created Credit Card Builders, we funded over $600 million in various loans, specializing in high-end mortgage loans. And over the past 25 years in the mortgage industry, we've developed many strong relationships and affiliations that now serve our business credit clients. And with the volatile nature of the financial and credit markets, these bank relationships are what has made it possible for us to continue providing funding and capital for our clients. Because we continue to generate literally millions of dollars each month in loans, our clients enjoy preferential treatment and approvals, and we would be happy to work with folks, and we have a special offer, a special bonus at the end of the call that we're going to make available. In the training today, we have a few objectives. I believe we're all here with the intent to leverage our time and money, and we have similar goals, but first I wanted to ask everyone, from your perspective, why are you here? Why did you join us? And by the way, you can go to the GoToWebinar console and you can type in and you can let us know why you're here today. Is it just to get cash for your business? Is it to grow your business? Just let us know. But our objectives for the call today and on this training are specifically to propel our businesses to the next level by creating access to capital that we can invest into our business, increasing our revenues, our cash flow, and hopefully our net, to protect our assets and businesses, to generate passive income. Actually, one of the vendors that we work with will show you how to build $100,000 of passive cash flow in 1 year. So that's $100,000 of income, and they can generate that based off of you having access to at least $100,000 of credit to invest. So based off that $100,000 of credit, you can then generate for $100,000 of passive income. It's a very popular thing that our clients love to do. We have a couple of different bonuses lined up for today, and this first bonus is for everyone just for joining us today. We want to thank you. If you stay on to the end of the call, we're going to send this to you in your email. And this is a credit package where you can keep apprised of what's going on your credit score, and it doesn't cost anything. Nothing on here costs you anything. As well as if you want to incorporate your LLC or S Corp or C Corp, these documents are provided. The only cost is with the state filing fee. And then credit simulator modules are really powerful. What you use these for is to simulate changes on your report and how to affect the maximum score increase. And for clients that work with us, we actually use professional grade versions of these simulator modules, and they're very powerful tools. So the second bonus is how to buy real estate without banks and without money, without credit, without private lenders. And this is a special report also available for everyone who stays on till the end of the call. And the last bonus is an action bonus that we have that's lined up for everyone who is interested in working with us. This is an incredible bonus that we got lined up, basically giving away a free membership. So what we're going to cover today, in order, first is non-recourse corporate credit and how to build up to a total of $100,000 of this type of credit, as well as business credit and what's the difference between corporate credit and business credit, and how to build $250,000 of business credit lines using a lendable entity. Now, a lot of people on the call probably already have an LLC or an S Corp or a C Corp, but for the purposes of funding, having a lendable entity is really important. How to get cash off of a credit card without paying a cash advance fee. Very useful. And then removing credit inquiries to keep your credit scores high, keep you lendable, and creating business plans. We're going to talk a little bit about how we got companies funded for as much as $1.5 million and the smaller SBA loans and how they can be useful. So we're going to start with the non-recourse corporate credit. There's two different types of credit that businesses use. The first that we're going over today is corporate credit, and the second type of credit is business credit, and we're going to be going over that in a little bit. So corporate credit is considered non-recourse, which means it would never personally come back on you. There's no recourse against you, and there's no personal guarantee on this type of credit. It's not guaranteed against your credit or against you personally, which means that there's no liability against you personally. It's very important to understand the difference between corporate credit and business credit. We really like to educate our clients on the difference. There's other companies out there that like to merge these two types of credit together so that a consumer doesn't really understand the difference. But there's a big difference between corporate credit and business credit. The fact that this type of credit is non-recourse and completely based off of your company. So if you were to default on this type of credit, it would never come back or show up on your personal credit.
Hey, all right, I know a lot of folks joined us today to access the cash credit, and we're going to be talking about that in just a moment. Right now, we're focusing on the Dun & Bradstreet vendor credit.
So you get vendor credit lines with this type of credit, and it's scored through Dun & Bradstreet. A lot of people have heard of Dun & Bradstreet, and there's other credit bureaus like Cortera and Credit.net. Those are two other credit scoring firms that have become more popular for different vendors to check small businesses and medium-sized businesses' credit scores, which is different from a personal credit score. This type of credit is completely based off of the business and has nothing to do with you personally. If you have bad personal credit, you can still get credit through this. If you have bankruptcy, you can still get credit through this.
Exactly, and most people don't know how to build this up or how to even get registered with Dun & Bradstreet, how to get their DUNS number. There's a lot of things that go into it that you've got to get figured out in order to start building this credit up. And if you go directly through Dun & Bradstreet, you could end up spending extra in different service fees. So, this is something that is essential for any business owner, especially for the long run. As already mentioned, it's strictly through the company.
If you try and go and do this on your own and you apply for one vendor account, let's say at Home Depot, or you go to Lowe's, or you go to Gemplers.com, or one of the many places, you may get approved, but it'll be for a smaller amount. The way that our system works is that there are specific vendors that we know will approve you guaranteed. We can guarantee you that they will approve you, and based on getting that approval, you'll be able to receive another approval. And so there's this first 4 accounts that we guarantee you these vendors will approve you. And once you're approved there and they start reporting to your business credit or to your corporate credit report to Dun & Bradstreet and Cortera, then you start having a score and you start building a Paydex score. And once that Paydex score rises a bit after the first month, then you can go on to the second tier of accounts. And so the corporate credit, no matter what your score is, no matter what you have, anybody can get it. When you follow the simple steps that's laid out, anybody can get it. And so this is a really powerful tool that if you're not leveraging, you should be. So here's a client of ours that's received $180,000, and we're going to be getting into this here in just a moment, the negotiating. If you look here on the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see where it has the $180,000 circled. You'll see the different accounts that Randy received, the 25s, 15,000s. But you'll look on the left-hand side, you'll see that the original limits, when we applied, only one of these accounts was actually approved when we applied. All the other ones came from us negotiating. And of course, Randy also didn't know what banks to go to that wouldn't report to his credit report, which ones were unsecured, just all the different banks and how to do it, how to apply all at one time so that one bank doesn't know what the other bank's doing so we can get a lot of credit in a rapid, short period of time. This is the culmination of that. This is the culmination of that $180,000 of credit. Randy said, hold off, that's enough, I don't need any more right now. So as I mentioned a little bit earlier, there's 2 types of credit that businesses use. And the first is called corporate credit, which is completely non-recourse, and the second is business credit. Now, business credit, you can get a lot more business credit than you can corporate credit. And business credit has unique things about it that make it very useful. For example, it's very easy to access the cash. It's easy to spend this credit anywhere you want. You can either just withdraw money off the lines, or you could take it anywhere Visa, MasterCard, or Discover or American Express is accepted. It's easy to use business credit because it's easy to access. It's not like getting a vendor trade line at Home Depot or Lowe's. With business credit, you have more buying opportunity. And the great things about it is you don't need tax returns. You don't have to prove your tax returns or income or how much you made or how much your business made. There is no debt to income ratio. They're not looking at your credit report and then saying, well, you make this much, so you can't afford it. They're not comparing that ratio. The credit is unsecured, and we're going to go over that later, but why unsecured is so important. The credit, the business credit, does not show up on your credit report. As we mentioned, you have buying opportunity because you have access to cash. We're going to systematically get into the aspects of business credit, how it relates to you personally, where the limit of liability is, but it's really important that you keep debt off of your personal credit report. You don't want to use your personal credit cards because your credit scores start to go down when you start to use your credit cards for your business, and a lot of folks do that. In fact, how many people on the call, I can see we've got a lot of people on, but how many people, and show me by raising your hand, how many of you use your personal credit card in any way, shape, or form for your business? And you might say, hey, well, I'll pay it back later, or this or that, or you might just say, or just be used to using it for your business. So, and I can see that there's quite a few folks on the call that do use their credit cards for their business. That's something that when you do that, folks, what happens is it brings your scores down, which makes it harder for you to get access to more credit. It's harder to get better rates on your insurance. There's so many things now that are looking at your credit scores that it's really important as a business owner to keep your scores high. So if we use business credit, the credit won't even show up on your credit report. And so you can leverage the entire business credit account, whether it be a $30,000 account, a $50,000 account, leverage the entire account, and it will not bring your scores down at all because the account doesn't even show up on the credit report. It's really important to use business credit to fund your business and not your personal credit cards. And there's a lot of folks that join with our membership, and they've already used their personal cards. And their personal cards may have an 18% interest rate, and then we help get that off their personal report and onto their business credit cards. Now, when you move forward and you apply for funding, you have to use a lendable entity. Most people only want to use their day-to-day operational entity. For example, real estate investors who maybe own rental properties, maybe buy and flip, and they have LLCs, they have asset protection strategies. They only want to get the business credit using their LLC. Well, when you go for business credit, you don't necessarily need or want to use your operating entity. In fact, for everyone who is with a member with us, we actually set up a separate entity that has 3 key characteristics. It has a safe name, a name that doesn't indicate a risky industry. It's in a safe industry, and it has sufficient seasoning, something more than 5 years. Generally, we like to match it to the years of experience that somebody already has. And most of the time, even if people haven't been in business for 5 years, they have at least 5 years of experience. And so as long as it has those 3 characteristics, and many times folks have been in their business for 20, 30 years, and then we can put that on the seasoning. But as long as you have a safe name and you're in a safe industry, for example, you don't want to be, when you go to the bank and apply for credit, you don't want to be in the real estate industry. You want to be perhaps in marketing and advertising or in business management. So business management and marketing and advertising are highly lendable industries, whereas real estate or just plain consulting, those industries are not right now as considered as profitable within the banks, and so they're not going to loan out as much credit. And of course, having a safe name, you don't want to indicate anything in the name that would throw the banks off. So those 3 key characteristics are important, so important that we set up an entity that will work for you, for anybody in any walk of life, anywhere, for our program. And so if you are in the real estate industry, then you don't want to use that entity. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't use the credit for your real estate company. When we set it up, we'll set it up as a business management company. And so your business management company receives $100,000 in business credit. You could loan that money as a note loan to your real estate entity. You might do $50,000 to your real estate entity. You might do $50,000 to a different business you have. This becomes a business management entity that helps you manage and operate your existing entities and whatever other businesses that you have going on. And of course, the reason for doing this is that this other entity is more lendable. Very important to use a lendable entity. So using unsecured credit means that you're using a credit line that is not based off of an asset. Your car loan is a secured loan because the loan is tied to the vehicle. If you don't pay it, they take the vehicle. Your house loan is tied to the house. If you pay it, they're going to foreclose upon the house. And so these are loans that are considered secured. An unsecured loan is a loan that's not secured to any asset. And so if you buy pizza ovens or if you buy vehicles for your business using unsecured credit, they cannot take away the pizza ovens or the vans or whatever it is that you buy for your company. And so it's really important that you use unsecured credit because essentially if you're unable to make your payments, the bank cannot take away the asset. So your asset stays in place and hopefully your cash flow and your business stays in place too. Now, in order to do this, in order to use this type of credit, the banks want to look at your personal credit report. And this is called a personal guarantee. They look at your credit report and they also attach your social security number to the application, which means that if you should not pay on this loan, then they give you a 90-day grace period. But if you don't pay on it, then they are going to make it show up on your credit report. To be quite honest with you, we don't really ever see this. None of our clients ever have that issue. They don't ever go more than 90 days defaulting on any of their credit accounts. But it's important to know that if you did, it would show up on your credit report because it is considered personally guaranteed and you are personally guaranteeing it. But the great part about business credit is that they understand that this is for your business, so it does not show up on your credit report. As long as you make your payments, it will never, ever show up on your credit report, and your credit scores will always stay high. So here's one of our clients, Kiara, on her first batch of credit from when she got started, and she says within the first week, she received $74,000 in the first week. And at this point, she's now up to $116,000. That's the way the membership works. Over time, you receive more and more and more credit. She actually is from liveyourbestlifenow.com, and she's never promoted us or anything. I guess we're kind of promoting her right now. We don't mean to, but she gave us her testimonial. She says, I have no hesitation in recommending them to my friends, family, and clients, so I'm sure she will be. So I would like $250,000, $250,000 in business credit lines. What strategy do you use? Now, I touched on this earlier when I mentioned that we apply for multiple credit lines. We have this pretty much down to a science. We know what banks will look at what credit bureaus, whether they look at Experian Business, whether they'll look at Dun & Bradstreet. We know exactly where they're looking. What we do is we apply for 4 or 5 of these microloans in a rapid, short period of time. And so we apply for them, then our negotiators follow up. One bank doesn't know what the other bank's doing, and that's how we can end up with the larger amounts of credit. And we're going to be showing more of that a little bit later in the presentation of the actual amounts. Well, we actually showed even earlier here where Randy got multiple accounts, and he received these because of the way that we apply and the rapid negotiation process that we do afterwards. It's a very important aspect of what we do. If any individual applied on their own, not knowing exactly what bank and what order of operations to go to, not knowing who to contact after the application, how to inquire, how to follow up, it's just not going to happen. We have relationships that we've developed for a long period of time that literally give our clients preferential treatment. We bring so many qualified clients to the table every month that the banks take it serious. When we do this, we're able to get multiple credit lines approved at the same time. We can get 25 from this bank, another 30 from that bank, 10 from this bank, and all that adds up in a short period of time. We've had clients that have gotten $140,000 in as little as a week and a half. And that's $140,000 because they were approved on 50s and 30s and $40,000 cards. We consider that a batch of credit. After we do a batch of credit, then we go into inquiry removal. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. After we do inquiry removal, we're back to doing another batch of credit, and we continue to build it. Now, throughout this entire process, we're continuing to build the non-recourse Dun & Bradstreet credit that we talked about in the beginning of the call. That's another very important aspect that needs to happen. You need to continue to build the Dun & Bradstreet non-recourse credit at the same time that we're building the cash credit.
Ari, also in regards to the strategy that we'll be using, working with us for the 12 months, you will receive fund, also be receiving education as well throughout, which is great. You'll learn a lot about business credit, how to obtain it. Some clients try to maintain on their own after the first year, and some clients continue to work with us for 2, 3, 4 years at a time.
So the difference between a tri-merge bank report and a consumer credit report is that a tri-merge bank report has more than triple the amount of data fields than a consumer report. And this is part of what I was talking about earlier, where your personal report ties into business. The business accounts do not show up on your personal report, but the banks do want to look at your personal report. So by going through our program, you're going to end up with much higher scores, not because we want to boost your scores, but because by doing so, we end up getting access to more credit, we end up making you happier, and it also benefits other areas of your life that have nothing to do with business credit. For example, you can get better insurance rates with better credit scores, and there's so much more. It's important to remember, though, that a tri-merge credit report can only be ran by a broker or a bank. We provide these tri-merge credit reports to our clients during consultation so that we can have a solid baseline of what needs to happen when we get started working with each individual client. Most people only have access to a consumer score, which is not complete. It's not a full credit score. There's lots of crucial data missing from a consumer credit report. And when a bank runs your credit report, they evaluate and determine your scores based off of a different set of data than what's used in a consumer credit report. So anyone trying to raise their credit scores can spin their wheels changing variables on their consumer report, when in reality, you need to know what data fields are used in the calculation of the bank credit score, not the consumer credit report. And most people don't even know there's a difference. What you see here of these modules here, we can see like Equifax up here, TransUnion over here, and Experian at the bottom. We can see that this client had 800 scores with Equifax, 805s and 789 with Experian, and these codes are the codes that I'm talking about. These codes are the printouts that come from a tri-merge bank report, and they're very specific. A code 30 is consistent across all 3 bureaus. So time since most recent account opening is too short. is showing up on all three bureaus, but for some reason on this client, on Experian, code 30 isn't coming up. See, this is a score that's not balanced, and you can even see score differentiation because of that. So these codes, and I just pointed out one of many, these codes tell us everything that we need to know about your score, and usually only the bank has access to that. But because we were a mortgage company, we have access to be able to see what that is and be able to guide based off of that. You can see here examples of a bank report and a consumer report. One of the differences between the reports is the way that seasoning is calculated. Like I was saying, the data on a tri-merge bank report is different than the data on a consumer credit report. It's literally pulled from different fields. So the seasoning on a tri-merge bank report is calculated in a field that doesn't even show up on a consumer credit report. I've had clients who it showed up on their report that their accounts had very little seasoning. And so the client went into their consumer credit report, like the one over here on the right-hand side, and they looked and they said, no, that the start date is correct. The seasoning should be correct. How long that account opening is clearly stated there. But on the banker's credit report, they go off of a different field. They don't go off the date open. They go off of what's called the months reviewed field. And so we have people spinning their wheels trying to update that variable, and they don't even realize it's a variable that doesn't even show up on the consumer credit report. There's many different things like that. For example, if you're an authorized user or not on an account, it's not going to show up whether you're an authorized user or a co-borrower. Well, those are two very important things to know. If I'm an authorized user, I can remove myself. If I'm a co-borrower, I cannot remove myself. Other things that we'll do for our clients is we'll merge similar credit accounts together. There's so many reasons. We have clients that have multiple Home Depot accounts. We merge them together. We end up getting accounts that have a higher overall limit by merging them together. For example, instead of a $10,000 Home Depot account and a $15,000, we merge it together. We now have one $25,000 account. And we'll merge it into the account that was opened longer so that we retain the longer seasoning. And this way we affect multiple scoring modules. We make it so that there's less overall accounts on the credit report. Out of the accounts on the credit report, the client has higher limits on their credit accounts, and the account that they retained was the one with the higher seasoning, making it that the overall amount of accounts that are opening, that the ratio comes up higher on that. So, and that's just by merging accounts together. There's so many different things that we can do. There's also routine pitfalls that people run into on their credit report. One of them is these no-limit credit cards. It's a credit card that they give to really high-end people. They say, hey, there's no limit on this credit card. Now, in reality, inside the bank, there is a limit. It may be high. It may be 30, 50,000, like the business accounts we get. In some cases, the no-limit accounts have a $10,000 limit at the bank. Where the no-limit part comes in is on the credit report. They don't report the limit. Now, this is something that you're going to want to write down. On a credit card, you can only spend 35% of the limit before it starts bringing your scores down. So if I have a $10,000 card, I don't want to put more than $3,500 on that card. Because if I go over $3,500 on a $10,000 card, I'm over 35% of balance to credit limit. So you want to keep your credit limit below 35% on any given credit card. On a $20,000 card, that would be $7,000. On any given credit card, you need to keep it below that 35% in order for your scores not to go down. Now, what happens on a credit card that has no limit being reported? It completely messes up your scores. And they target high-end consumers so they can try and bring your scores down to make it easier for them. If they do find the need to jack up your interest rate or chop your credit limit, it gives them a pretext. Now, there's many, many different variables on your credit report that we go over with our members. And when we get these items changed, many times we can get 100, 200-point score change where a client never realized they could even have a higher score. We have clients that came with a 690 and ended up with a 790. It routinely happens, and we have to do that before we apply. It's really important that we do that so that when we do apply, we can get the maximum amount of credit. And here we have a client that went through the same process. His paydex score, all of his scores were increased. He received $157,000 And you can see he would have received $21,000 on his own without our negotiating. And that is, of course, if he could have picked out the right sequence of banks to go to and all that. So even saying that he would have got $21,000 is pretty generous. When we applied, this is what we got. After putting him through all of the different credit improvements, all the different things that we do, when we applied, we got $21,000. Our negotiators are what made the difference between this and this. And those changes that we make on the credit profile are profoundly important. We would not get this 157 if it wasn't for those changes.
This really is what happens for all of our clients also. I just wanted to say, we have this testimonial here, but for all of our clients, this is what you see. A lot of zeros in the first column, in the original limit column, because of what Ari just said. The initial approval is just usually a denial, if anything, or a very low approval. And it's not until we actually contact the representatives at the bank and have each account overturned or negotiated to the most amount possible for each account. That's where a lot of the funding is coming from.
So SBA is a tool that clients use when they have cash flowing businesses and returns for that business that they want to use in conjunction with the loan. A lot of people are a startup, so they don't have tax returns. Now, if you do have tax returns and you do have a good, healthy net to the gross profits that you create, then we can use that to create an SBA loan. This is a very, very useful option. We have clients that have gotten $30,000 SBA loans, and then we have clients that have received SBA loans up to $1.5 million. That was actually a dairy farm that had an entire operation going. There's different types of SBA loans that can be used, and specifically what we do is we work with you to create a business plan that's structured to what the SBA is looking for that will fit and work within the framework of receiving an SBA loan. So we touched briefly on inquiry removal. Essentially, inquiry removal is a needed step for any credit user, for anybody who uses credit and wants to be above the average user and wants to be able to use credit but not have that counted against them with all these inquiries, then it's important to remove them. That way you can keep your scores high. It's easier and you can go back for more credit faster. I mean, it really boosts your scores when you remove them and you want to remove them as fast as you can. So now not all inquiries have to be removed. For example, I'm sure a lot of people in the call have had, they have a credit card, let's say with Chase or with any specific bank, and then the bank contacts them and asks them about that credit line. And you wonder, well, how did you know what was on my credit report? What happens is they run this soft inquiry in the background where they can just take a small snapshot of your credit report. And so that's how they know that you were late on your Capital One card or whatever. They know other things on your credit report because you already have a credit card with them that allows them to run a soft inquiry. Now, what I'm saying is that the soft inquiry doesn't count against you. So if you've ever been confronted with that, then don't worry, that's not counting against you. The only inquiries that count against you are when you are applying and inquiring for credit, like an auto loan, a mortgage, a credit card. Those are going to create an inquiry. If the bank is just routinely doing one of their checkups in the background, that's considered a soft inquiry. Now, when you do have better scores, you end up getting better insurance rates. You end up getting overall more approvals. It's something that we routinely need to do for our clients because when we apply for the business credit cards, there's going to be a few credit inquiries that show up. And the easiest inquiries that can be removed are business credit inquiries because the credit account doesn't show up on their credit report. Only the inquiry does. And they're truly not personal credit inquiries. And they shouldn't even be showing up on your personal report. So when you dispute a business inquiry, those are the easiest ones to get removed. Specifically for our program, those are the ones that we're interested in getting removed, is any inquiries from the business credit cards.
Also, going back to the credit reports and the erroneous information, this ties into that as well. Oftentimes there's inquiries that don't necessarily belong on the report, and that's something that you really want to get removed because it's bringing your scores down, as already just mentioned. But it just reminded me of a client we had recently who had several recent inquiries, and they had strong credit, but their scores were below 700 because of the inquiries. So we helped them get those removed. And by doing that, their scores jumped up over 700, and then we were able to get them the credit that we were talking about. So that was really great.
Yeah, and it happens routinely. I mean, there's so many different clients that we're working with and different people at various stages. I just love checking in with different folks and seeing what they've been doing with the credit, how they've been using it, the way it's been benefiting them. And you've seen it in some of the testimonials. But it's really, really an exhilarating feeling. I can tell you the most exhilarating feeling is getting the credit for the client and to the client, letting them know, hey, I just got you $75,000 today. I mean, it's really cool. Our consultants routinely get sent bottles of wine and chocolate bars and gift cards and coupons. I mean, it's actually pretty rewarding, even just from that standpoint, knowing that you're helping these small businesses get access to credit when on their own they wouldn't get access to that same amount. It would be much less, and it wouldn't be something that they would consider even viable to help their business. Another really important aspect of our program is being able to access the cash on a credit card, specifically a business credit card, so that you can use that like a credit line. There's an institution that we work with that allows us to essentially ACH the money off of a credit card into a savings account with no transactional fee and no cash advance fee, no fees associated whatsoever. And it's a really important part of the process. Otherwise, you're being nickeled and dimed with all these different fees.
I have a question for everyone. I wanted to ask you to please come to the GoToWebinar questions area and let us know how you could invest an additional $50,000 or even $100,000 in this zero interest cash credit that we're talking about. How could you invest this in your business to increase your ROI and boost your revenues? We're going to continue to talk about how we're able to access this as cash. But again, please let us know how you see yourself investing this money.
So another important aspect of that cash advance is that you can get around a cash advance limit. For example, I have a $45,000 credit card with Barclays, and on that card, I only have a $15,000 cash advance limit. I can get around that by using this institution that I'm talking about and doing this specific transaction. I could pull all $45,000 off of that Barclays card as a 0% transaction and sitting on the 0% introductory period. The introductory periods could be 6 months at 0%, 9 months, 12 months. The longest ones are 18 months at 0%. It's an incredible way of accessing the cash just like you would with any credit line or any other a line of credit. Here we see Seth, who received $250,000 or $255,000, and we can see that he initially received $120,000 in less than 2 months. In the first month, he was finding his credit partner, and so Seth himself had an issue with his credit, so he brought in a credit partner. Even with having to first find the credit partner and then go through another consultation, he still got $120,000 in the first 2 months. Now, at this point, he has over $255,000, and he's also standing on his own. He no longer is relying on his credit partner because he's gone through the process. He's ready to go. His scores are good, and it's really a wonderful thing. So this is what we have for those of you who do want to work with us, who want to let a professional consultant work directly with them and actually set up these credit accounts. And that is $50,000 to $250,000 at 0%. The reason we say $50,000 to $250,000 is we generally are getting $50,000 plus on each batch. Now there's many clients that actually get above $250,000. On 5 batches of credit at $50,000 apiece, it's $250,000. It's a very typical average that we get. That's done through your consultant working with you for 12 months one-on-one. And they're doing the work for you. They're the ones that are applying, negotiating. There's actually separate teams that do negotiating versus applications versus direct consulting. There's different folks within our company that specialize on these different things, and they're doing it for you. And then you have access to your personal coach that explains everything. They're specialized in communication and in understanding credit reports and in directing and guiding the entire process. And we've earmarked that value at $3,500. This is not what we're asking people to pay. These are just the values that we've earmarked to this that other companies are typically charging. For 12 months, if we're charging $100 an hour, that would only be 35 hours. If we were charging $50 an hour, that would only be 70 hours. We end up working with a client for hundreds of hours, not direct one-on-one consulting, but we end up working on your file with the negotiating and everything well over 100 hours, 200 hours. This is really a good price. The tax ID being set up and the entity being set up in a safe industry, this is very important. Not using an entity that's not going to get us the maximum amount of credit we want. It could cost $1,500 plus to set up an entity that's in a safe industry. A lot of people know about shelf corporations and so on. They can be quite expensive, but when you work with us, you're not going to pay anything for it. As well as how to get cash off of any credit card. We have that at a $500 value, but really we have clients that have saved thousands of dollars in all the different times that they've used these cash advance techniques. And removing credit inquiries, that's another technology that you learn that you will always know. After working with us, you will always know how this technology works, how you can remove credit inquiries. And quite honestly, that could be worth well over $500. And we talked about the Dun & Bradstreet corporate non-recourse credit in the beginning of the call. That $100,000 is additional to the $250,000 of business credit cards. That is completely additional, and this is the non-recourse credit. There's other companies out there that are selling programs like this for $2,000–3,000. So saying $697 for this program is a very good and honest price. Again, this is not what we're asking to pay. This is just what many other companies charge. For example, $1,500 for a business plan. Business plans can range anywhere from $1,000 to, I've seen them as expensive as $10,000 when they're really in-depth and descriptive of the business. There can be a lot involved. This is something that we provide to every client, is a business plan. And we'll also help you incorporate your day-to-day business. If you have any other LLCs or S-Corps you want to get set up, we'll help you with that. Generally, folks are charged in between $400 to $500 for that. So if you add all of this up, what we do for you, the $250,000 of credit, setting up the entity in the safe industry, getting the cash off the cards without paying cash advance fees, then removing the credit inquiries so that we can continue the process getting more and more credit. Then all along, we're building the Dun & Bradstreet corporate credit. That's the non-recourse credit. So these are two different programs that we're doing in tandem, as well as for the folks that are going to benefit from an SBA loan or even just getting a business plan. Many folks just need the business plan for their business. All of this added together over $8,000, and we actually have some other bonuses. For those that take action today, they're going to get two other bonuses that I'm about to present. And the first is the free partner upgrade, and this is where you'll receive one free membership where you can use this free partner upgrade for your partner, your spouse, or any other individual or family member you choose. So this is a free membership. You have to remember that it's not a home study course. This service is not a home study course. And you're not going to buy this, take it home, and set it on the shelf and never use it. This is a 12-month service where you'll be receiving consulting service, hash funding, throughout the entire 12 months. And because this bonus is a full free membership and we service for you, we can only allow 15 of these free partner upgrades of the folks that get signed up today. The second enrollment bonus is 40 free hours with a virtual assistant. Now, if you've never heard of a VA or a virtual assistant, a VA is a highly trained professional that works from their own office. They're not in your office drinking your coffee, using your air conditioning. They're in their own office with their own phone line, their own electric bill. They pay for everything, and they can do work from bookkeeping to appointment setting to data entry. They can call your clients. They can build buyers lists. They can fill out offers. They can do listing coordination, transaction coordination. I mean, there's virtual assistants that'll create flyers for you. They can do just about anything that an actual employee in your office could do. So everyone in all types of businesses can benefit from using a virtual assistant. And if you get started today, we're going to give you 40 free hours with your own personal virtual
assistant, getting things done that you need to get done. So the next bonus that we have lined up is also free for the first 15, and this is a financial management tool specifically to track the 0% offers. Everyone knows that we get the 0% offers. They could be anywhere from 6 months to 9 months to 12 months. The longest are 18 months, and it's really important that we track that 0% offer so that your credit never goes above 0%, so that anytime a balance is going to hit an interest rate, we've already taken care of that, moved the money from one account to another. So this is software that we give you. and then it'll pop up on your screen, and then you can let your consultant know that you need to start moving the money. And this software does way more than just track the 0%. It's basically like QuickBooks on steroids for small businesses, and it's a very, very powerful program. And it can just, like you see on the screen, there's a whole plethora of things that it can do. And this is also going to be something that we give out to the first 15 that get started today. So the link to get started today is sgvcredit.com. And again, it's sgvcredit.com. I'm going to go ahead and send this link out to everyone. Okay, there we go. I just sent that out through the chat terminal. So if you click on the chat terminal, you should be able to click directly on the link, and it'll take you right to the site. So the cost today, if you want to get started with the membership, is $31.50. And if you'd like to get started with the back-end option, then you pay $1. And that's just an authorization. You actually don't pay anything. So you have two different options, two different ways of working with our company. On the left-hand side, you see the membership. The membership will limit the total amount you pay us. It will enable you to get the full service as well as all the positioning that we talked about on the call. And you will not pay anything on the back end. So you'll get the 12 months of service, building up to $250,000, and you will pay a total of $31.50, not $1 more. Now, if you do not want to pay up front, and if you have good credit, then you can choose the second option. And the second option, you authorize your credit card for $1 today, and it doesn't even charge you the $1, just authorizes. And you get started within the program. So you sign up, you put your credit card information in, or whatever payment information you're using. You don't actually pay anything. We just want to make sure that when the time comes to pay us, that you do have good payment information on file. But remember, you need to qualify for the back-end funding option. You need to qualify with the 730 FICO in order to qualify if you only want to put $1 down authorization in order to get started. So again, to recap, if you're interested in capping your overall fees, then you want to choose the option on the left. If you're interested in just moving forward as fast as you can, and you already have really good credit, you already have a 730 FICO or better, then get started on the membership, or I'm sorry, on the back-end funding membership on the right-hand side. So now I wanted to also bring up and just show some examples of exactly what other clients that Brad has sent us. Here you can see, here's a client that Brad sent. You can see up here, Brad, I started with Credit Card Builders through the recommendation of Brad Weinman. I was invited to a webinar with Ari Page. CCB has secured over $120,000 at 0% interest in less than 4 weeks. Okay, so to date, they have secured a total of $224,000 for our business. Okay, and this is TJ, and TJ was referred to us from Brad. And so now if we look down here below, we can see another a testimonial from Brad where this client, Mike, sent us a testimonial letting us know how Brad had referred him to us, and then they received $156,000 so far. And this is Mike from California. So $156,000. They have well-trained staff and a network of banks that are still issuing good amounts of credit even in this down economy. And so some of these testimonials you'll see on our website. Some just came in. They're very new. They haven't been posted on the website yet. But in the meantime, I wanted to point out and show people what the actual credit looks like. Once you get started with us, this is what you're going to receive in the mail. These letters here are the letters that let the client know exactly what amount they were approved for, and obviously, as you can see on the left-hand one, the credit card is included. So over here is one of the letters that you may receive showing that your card has been approved. The amount, for example, this one here on the left is $35,000. This one on the right is another very typical letter that our clients get. And this one shows how the initial credit line was 20 grand when we applied, and how we got it boosted up to 50 grand. So you can see, congratulations, your request for a credit line increase has been approved. The corporate credit line is now $50,000. And so this is another example of how we boost the credit limits to get the larger overall limits. I mean, almost anyone can apply for business credit cards, but whether or not you're going to get approved or whether you're going to get approved for a $2,000 card or a $25,000 card is the difference between working with us or not. Okay, so here's Greg. So Greg Hollingshead signed up, and he's saying, I want to thank Zach. Okay, so here we see that Brad Weinman referred Greg. And Greg says, when I initially signed up, I had a very limited credit profile after filing bankruptcy. I didn't even realize this. This guy filed bankruptcy. I now have 39,000 of 0% credit and a solid credit foundation. Now, is a 39,000 of 0% credit that good, or is a solid credit foundation what's great here? I mean, getting the 40 grand of credit was just excellent. This guy just filed bankruptcy when he signed up with us, and now he's got a solid credit foundation. You can cross that 40 grand out. That doesn't even matter. Having that solid credit foundation for your business, absolute must. A lot of people have been in bad credit situations and had to dig their way out of it. But the great thing about Greg is that he decided he was just going to bite the bullet and do it. And he did it. And not only does he have 40 grand so far, but he also now has a clean credit profile and a business credit profile to add to that. So these are really, really, really important things. If you don't have a solid credit foundation, then you're not going to get access to credit. And even though it took even though it took Greg, I'm sure it took him a couple months, he worked through it, and now he has access to the credit. So that's powerful. So Brad, do you want to go ahead and let folks know how other subscribers have been using the credit?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of my clients that have used it to invest with, whether it's in real estate. And by the way, that was really powerful information, Ari. I mean, as usually you guys just share a ton of golden nuggets. I always pick up new stuff in every presentation you guys do, so thanks again to both of you. Yeah, I mean, some of my clients like to use it for investments, such as real estate or alternative investments and Forex, trading accounts, things of that sort. And then we have other clients that are using it to start or grow an existing business. Maybe they want to start a business. I have a lot of clients that are in the home business industry. They want to invest more money into advertising to grow their business. Inventory, it really depends on the business, but there's just so many uses for this credit, and I just love the flexibility of having it there just in case. So, I mean, what you guys are offering here is a pretty incredible package. I thought it was incredible 5 years ago when I became a client. And I appreciate you guys including all the bonuses and certainly the healthy discount for my subscribers.
Thank you. And look, folks, we're here to help people and be of service. The money is coming in regardless, so we don't mind giving things away, especially helpful tools to go with our program. And we definitely see the value in building satisfied, happy customers. And rather than trying to get rich quick and overcharge and underdeliver like many of the other financially related resources, we are definitely different. As Brad can tell you, we underpromise and overdeliver. We are definitely here to help as many small business owners and investors access the capital they need. We want to help folks because we're tired of seeing this economy plummet, tired of seeing families' qualities of life diminish. Basically, it's all due to lack of resources and know-how.
Yeah, that's an important point, Ari, because there's so many folks out there going in the wrong direction with loans and paying more for resources than they should simply because they're uninformed about what the options are. And I've personally had other funding companies approach me and try to justify charging my clients $6,500 for a membership or a whopping 20% fee on the back end, which is a heck of a lot more than what you guys charge. And not only that, but I know that you and your team take great care of your clients, and you handle a much larger volume, and it's that volume that allows you to charge a reasonable fee and still provide top-notch support and the best results I've ever seen in this industry. I know you guys have already obtained millions of dollars for my clients collectively, and certainly I've referred dozens of my personal clients over the years, and I'm certainly sure that that number is going to grow pretty soon after this webinar ends. So If you guys are listening out there, if you're serious about increasing the amount of capital you have on tap to use for things like investing, growing a business, or even just protecting yourself against unforeseen circumstances that we all have to deal with from time to time, then I think this is one of the greatest solutions out there to take advantage of. So, I mean, I like having this kind of credit on tap just in case of emergency, just in case of a financial crisis. Certainly, we never want those things to happen in life, but when they do happen, it's nice to know that it's just sitting there waiting to activate if needed. So, Ari, is there anything else you want to say? Anything else you want to discuss?
Yeah, we're gonna get to the questions here, but I noticed that Norman was having a problem getting to the website. So, I'm just gonna go ahead and bring up the website. So Norman, I went and I typed sgvcredit.com up here, and it brings me to this website. So up in my URL bar at the top left, where it says www, I put sgvcredit.com. It brings me to this site here, and this is the site that gives the special discount that Brad has secured for you. So you can choose whether or not you want to pay the membership. And by the way, folks, the membership, if you go to our website without going through this link, you're going to be charged a minimum of $3,500. So, and you're not going to get any of the bonuses. So you're going to lose thousands of dollars if you don't go to the exact link here. If you go directly to our website, again, you're going to pay thousands of dollars more. The link is sgvcredit.com, and you have two ways of signing up. You can sign up for the membership and limit your overall fees, or you can pay on the back end, which means we get the credit for you first and then charge you 9% of the credit received. Now, Norman, you were having problems. I think what you needed to do is click on the left-hand side. You were looking for the membership. Click Order Now, and it'll bring you to the client registration form, and choose your payment option, whether it's a credit card or whether it's a check. So choose your payment option. Then after you've chosen that, we do give the option, if you want to break it into 2 payments or 3 payments, you can choose to do that. Of course, most folks just sign up with the 1 payment option. So you choose that, then fill out your information, and then hit Submit. Now, as soon as you've hit Submit, you've created your membership. And then at your leisure, you can log in and fill out your information. You could do that today. You could do it tomorrow. But you're going to want to log in at your leisure after getting started with the membership and fill out your information. Where do you log in? You log in up here. Top right-hand side of the website, you'll see the word login. And just click on that up here, and that's where you log in. It's very simple. After you filled out this form, you'll receive an email. In that email, there'll be a username and a password. And you go up here to where it says login, and you simply log into the website, just like logging in to any other secure online website. And the website will then help guide you through the process of collecting the bit of information that we need in order to get started working for you. So once you've filled out your information, you'll then get a welcome call, or I'm sorry, you'll then be forwarded to get started on your consultation. So once you've filled out all your information, you'll then schedule your consultation, and then you'll move forward on your consultation, and then we will start the funding process for you. So all that happens pretty much right away as you get started. Norman, let me know if you have any other questions there regarding the website. So I believe that I covered everything there. And of course, for folks that want to get started on the back-end funding option, just click on the right-hand side. There is no payment options, of course, because you're only authorizing. So just choose whether you want to pay by credit card or check, and fill out the information. And the same is true. You then get started with the membership. So for folks who do want payment options, there are those payment options for the membership. And just remember that you're first of all getting 10% off. You're getting your free partner upgrade bonus. So it's not just you, but you're going to be able to put a partner through this program too. You're going to get the virtual assistant. You're going to get the condo newsletter program, the 1-week free vacation, all of this if you get started today. Okay, so let me get Mike in here for questions. Okay, great. Sorry I had Mike out, so he should be able to tune in now. and be able to see the questions. So Mike Reed Miller, a different Mike, says, can you talk a little more about the 100,000 passive cash flow per year that you mentioned earlier? This is actually a resource that you'll find within the Wealth Vault. I don't know if anyone's heard of the Wealth Vault, but you will. That's obviously that's Brad, works together with the Wealth Vault as well, and you'll be able to find that program within there. So Brad, should we get any more clear on that?
Mike, yeah, Mike, if you just want to contact me directly, you have my email. Just contact me directly, and I'll put you in touch with that particular vendor. Okay, it's a personal friend of mine, Rob.
Perfect. Okay, so let's see. As we move on here, I just wanted to welcome Stephanie. Stephanie signed up for the membership. We look forward to working with you, and we are very happy to be able to extend all the different bonus offers and everything, as well as Henry. Henry W. signed up for the membership. Looks like Elizabeth, who's an MD. Very cool. She got started on the back-end funding option. Excellent. All right, so Danny just signed up for membership. Let's see. Okay, and then I see two other back-end folks that have already got started also, Jeffrey and Andrew. Excellent. So quite a few people have already taken advantage. We still have bonus spots available. So go ahead and get started if you're ready to get started, but you just would rather get started over the phone versus getting started online. If you'd rather get started over the phone and want someone to give you a call, then get your credit card out and get ready and put your phone number into the webinar console. Put your phone number into the questions area, and we'll have somebody reach out to get you started over the phone. Now, either way, both ways are safe and secure. So our website is a secure website. It's it's on a secured protocol, so you can transact. We're just like the banks where we have to keep data, impenetrable, like Fort Knox, and that's exactly what our database is. It's kind of similar to to Fort Knox, but essentially, as far as security goes, it's really we use the latest systems to protect your information, just like the banks do. So, Brian, we got your number. We'll have someone reach out to you to get you started. William, we got your number. Andy, I see your email, but put your number in too. They can't help. You can get started through email as well, but it would be easier if you just did it by phone or go directly to the website. Okay, cool. All right, so Andy's on board. All right, Mike, do you want to go ahead and hit the other questions?
Yeah, I was just going to jump in there and ask you if I could get to this question here, but also I wanted to bring up the credit gain to show people, give them like kind of a real life experience of what it's like for the back office, what the consultants are seeing as the credit's coming in. I think we should bring that up, but let me grab this question right here. Did you get the one from Gomer?
No, I have not.
They were asking about the 3150 option. So the question is, what if you want to do the $3,150 option, but you don't have the cash today? You have to wait a month. Okay, so if you don't have the money today, what you want to do, first of all, keep in mind that the price is discounted and we can only do this for today. This isn't something that we always do. It's usually $3,500. So if you want that, sign up today. Go with one of the payment options, though. We have two different options. You can split it up into 2 payments or 3 payments, and you make the first payment today, and the second payment would be in 30 days from now. So go to the link and check out those options, and that should help you out. If you can't even lay out the first payment, then just hold off on it, and we'll speak to you next month. But this is something that you should really consider doing now, and not really putting off if it's something that you think you're going to do anyway. Because for one, there's a huge value in it. You're going to need these types of business credit lines in the future, most likely. If you don't need them already right now, you're going to need them in the future. And also, like you said, you're going to get started either way. So if you have any credit available or any funding available that you could put together, we've had clients take money out of their 401k and borrow money, all different types of things. Obviously, we're not pushing people into this that don't fit, but if you're going to do it, take action now, save the money, get the bonuses, get it out of the way, let us get to work on your behalf. We'll start improving your credit profile and bringing in funding for you. It's what you want. So if you can, take time out of the equation, just take action now. If not, we'll talk to you in a month. Either way, we do look forward to working with you. It looks like a few more phone numbers came in as well, so we're going to give you all a call in a little while. Just give us a few minutes. Once the webinar is over, you'll be getting a call, so make sure you stand by at that phone number. All right.
And one thing I wanted to just mention, I mean, if everyone seriously asks themselves, why have they joined us today? You've joined us today because, essentially, to put it down to the basics, you would like access to credit. You'd like to leverage. And if you want to leverage, then you have to have the leveraging tool. So what value do you place on that tool? What value do you place on having access to $250,000? Is it worth $25,000 to you? Is it worth $25 to you? How do you feel it'll help you in your business? If you had access to $250,000 right now, just like Mike said, if we took time out of the equation, if you had access to that $250,000 right now, what would you do with it? Doesn't it now become more valuable? Isn't it something that now suddenly you are considering dipping into your savings to get started on this, or using that cash
folks,
that
come,
maybe you
come
had?
to the questions area. I was going to say, come to the questions area, folks. Tell us what you would do with it if you had $250,000 right now in zero interest business credit, none of which shows up on your personal credit report. Come to the questions area. Let us know what you would actually do with it. Well, go ahead, Art.
Yeah, and if you don't know what you're going to do with it, then tell me this instead. If you had access to the $250,000, do you genuinely believe that there's nothing that you could do within your business to boost your overall revenues? If you had access to $250,000 and it wasn't in question how to get it, you know that you would use it. There's a lot of people say, well, I don't want to use credit. I would rather depend on my cash flow, and that's all great. That's all great. I feel very much the same way. However, there are other tools out there that can be used. Just like cash flow is obviously a tool that can be used towards investing in your business. You can invest directly out of your cash flow. There's also credit. There's also subject to. There's many different ways of leveraging. And if you're not using all those different ways of leveraging, one thing you can definitely bet on is that your competition is. They're definitely going to use all the different ways, and you know that they're your competition because you notice them. The people that you don't notice, the competition that you don't notice, isn't getting any traction. But the competition that is using this is getting traction. Why? It's easier for them to mount campaigns. It's easier for them to put on live events. It's easier for them to do a whole plethora of different things, from setting up websites to legal foundations. There's a lot that having access to credit will help when it comes to running an investment firm, when it comes to investing in passive income, when it comes to investing in just about anything. If you can invest it and you know that it's non-recourse, that it's not going to come back to bite you, it's not going to come back to hurt you, you're never going to have your personal car, your personal house taken away, then it's kind of a no-brainer. So if you're sitting on the fence and you want the credit, but you just have a few last questions, come to the questions area and let us know, what is it that's holding you back? What is it that's stopping you from getting started, knowing that you don't have to pay us anything up front, and if you want to join using the membership, that there's a 60-day money-back guarantee. And within those 60 days, we'll be able to give you all the ins and outs of what's going on. So if for some reason you should not get funded within those 60 days, you're going to know ahead of time. You're going to be able to make the decision whether you want to stick with the process and give us the time it takes to get you the credit, or whether or not you want to get your money back. That's completely up to you. Very few people actually end up utilizing that option, but it's there. It's available simply because we are open-handed. We want to do business openly. So Jerry Jerry says, I've been using my personal credit cards to fund my startup. Can I transfer those balances to the new business credit cards? And the answer is absolutely. Absolutely, we can do that. We have a lot of clients in that same scenario. They've been using their personal cards to fund their business, to help, to help manage, to help with cash flow on bad months. Many different reasons why a business owner would use business credit. However, instead of using business credit, they're dipping into their personal credit accounts, and those personal credit accounts may be secured off personal items. They may be showing up on your personal credit report. There's so many reasons why you don't want to use your personal loans for business. It becomes harder to write off. I mean, there's just, you know, many different reasons. It doesn't help you protect your assets. You become vulnerable. It's really important that you use business credit. So especially in Jerry's case, where he's carrying some debt on his personal report that was invested in his business, we definitely want to get that off of your personal credit cards where it's not showing up on your personal credit report. That's paramount. That's a must. So absolutely, Jerry, we can help you with that.
Yes, so many of our clients are in that exact same position. And to be honest, it's a really big mistake. You don't want to overextend yourself on the personal lines. You've got to get the debt and move it, put it where it belongs, put it on the business credit lines like we're saying. So, Jerry, you can definitely do what you're proposing. It's a good idea, but don't feel bad. The majority of people out there, business owners, startups especially, they're using personal credit because really that's all they've got. You know, it's either that or cash flow, and who wants to use their savings or cash flow to invest with if you could use a business credit line at 0 to like minimal interest rates and the revolving accounts that stay open for life. So obviously what we're doing here, the lines that we're creating for people are really helpful. But in that case, Jerry, you definitely want to make sure that you move the debt off the personal, put it on the business credit cards, definitely. Okay. Joe,
so it looks like Joe was
yeah,
asking, do you pay the 9% when you use the money or when they just extend the credit? So once we've got credit, let's say we get $100,000 extended to you, Joe. Once we've got the credit approved for you and you can access it, once you have access to the credit, we then charge you. So if we get you 10 grand, then we would charge you 900. It all depends on exactly how much we get you. So if you're looking at limiting your fees, then I would recommend going with the membership. But as far as the 9%, we only charge that after we've actually got you approved for the credit and after you have the credit account and you're able to access it. So, you know, if we get you 100,000, but you only use 10,000 of that, you still pay the 9% on the total amount of credit that we got for you. And if you need to limit it, you can just let us know. Exactly.
That's what I was going to say. We do have some clients who will go into the performance-based program, and we do allow them to put a cap. Let's say they only need 100,000 or 75,000. We do allow the cap, but to be honest, most people that go into the performance-based program, they want as much funding as possible, as quickly as possible, and that's usually what they get. But if you're in a situation where you only need 50,000 or something like that, and you qualify, let us know. Come to the questions area, let us know, and you could definitely take advantage of it. But like I said, it is based on what we obtain for you. You could use 10,000 of it in the next 30 days, and then you might not use the rest of it for the next 2 years, for all we know. Either way, those are revolving accounts. They're in your name, and they're yours to keep. So very important. It's important to have.
And what's great about this is that we don't want to take equity within your business. We don't want you to start some expensive cash advance merchant factoring based off of your merchant receivables, your merchant account, or your check deposits. We're not trying to take a stake in your company and claim your revenues. What we're doing really is the best way for any small business owner or investment firm to invest within themselves without giving up ownership, without paying huge financing fees. I mean, like Brad mentioned earlier, he's been approached by companies that wanted to charge $6,500 for memberships. And these companies are selling all day long. All day long, people are signing up. They're paying for 20% on the back end. There's one company that charges 22.5% on the back end after they charge you $1,500 to get started. I mean, imagine getting 200 grand through their program. Whereas with us, right here, you're paying $3,000 essentially, $3,150 for the exact same access. So please, people, really understand how important this is. And I want to also give a live example here of how how our back end works. Mike mentioned this earlier to bring this up on the screen. So what I did was I blocked out our clients' names, and I blocked out most of our associates that are working on these specific files. And so what you see here on your screen is our back end view of the credit that we have flowing in every single day. So these accounts up here in this top grouping at the very top, these accounts are the ones that have come in today. Then this second grouping down right below is what came in yesterday. and then what came in the day before, and so on and so forth. So if we look at these accounts, let's take a look at this account right here that I've highlighted. So you can see I'm running my mouse left and right, on top of it. So this account here, when we initially applied, we got declined, and that was earlier today. So our folks then called in, spoke to an underwriter, and got this approved for a $30,000 account, and this is only on the first negotiation. So this account's $30,000 plus. When we do subsequent negotiations, it's going to go up from there. Let's show another example of that. So right here, can folks see the account that I'm selecting here? This one's from yesterday. So when we initially applied for this account, we got declined. Then a few days later, we called in and did a negotiation. On that negotiation, we got $10,000 approved for the client. So then a few days after that, we called in and we got an additional $15,000 to add to the initial $10,000. So now our grand total is, over here on the right-hand side, you can see $25,000. So, and this happens because of the positioning that we're doing. Because of how we're positioning you prior to the applications, this is why we're getting these huge amounts. Like this client up here, 35 grand right from the get-go. When we start negotiating, this account's going to go up to 40, 50. Many accounts do. And so as you scroll down, you just see larger and larger and larger amounts because each one of these accounts need to be worked. I see a $51,000 account here, a $41,000 account, more 25s. And these smaller accounts that you see are accounts that are still being worked larger. This is all that has come in so far. It may be at 5 grand, 3 grand, 1 grand. All of these accounts need work. Look out on the left-hand side on the initial column, right here where my mouse is going up and down. Many accounts are just declined initially. So it doesn't matter if it comes in at 1,000 or a declination or 10,000 or 5,000. We're going to work that amount. We're going to build the accounts larger and larger. Every month, we're getting millions of dollars. Let me switch views. And folks, let me know if this is not interesting to you. If this is not interesting, go to the questions area and say, Ari, this is not interesting. But this gets us so excited because this is the actual credit flowing in. You're seeing it in real time. You'll see my mouse actually turn into a hourglass, and then more credit is downloading into here from our main office. So I'm going to switch views to the credit apps view and quickly move clients' names off the screen. All right, let's do this a better way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up what's called our monthly view. And in the monthly view, we show, I can show you the total amounts of credit that is coming in every single month, of course. So I just need to make sure that I get, our clients' names off the screen and the bank's name. Okay, there we go. All right, here you go. So this is this month. And we are, 16 days into the month. You can see 35s, 20s, 30s, 10s. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and we're going to see the total amount of credit that we've received this month, even though we're only 16 days into the month. So here we're at $1.4 million. And look at this. There's this client here got a $94,000 account from Citibank. $94,000. The only way to do that, folks, is by merging business accounts together. That's another thing that we're expert at. So this probably was 2 smaller accounts that we initially created for the client, and then we merged it together, to create one super account. Now we have a $94,000 account, 0% for, it looks like it's Citi, so that would be for 12 months. That's a powerful account to use. This guy could go out and buy a house on that if he lives in the East Coast. So let's go ahead and scroll down. I'm going to hit page down. Let's see, I see a $55,000 account, another 50,000, 35s. Okay, I'm hitting page down over and over now. So okay, so we can see here for September. For September, our firm generated $2.5 million of funding collectively for our clients. And I'll just go back 1 month before then. So August was $2.7 million. So these are huge numbers, folks. $2.7 million in funding. That's a lot of credit coming in. And you could be on this list. You could be getting business credit. Go ahead and sign up, whether you're on the back end option or whether you're signing up for the membership. Both ways are much, much cheaper than the competition. And when I mean cheaper, I just mean less expensive but of more value. It really is of more value because a lot of the other companies out there that do what we do simply don't know a lot of the intricacies. In fact, on a wholesale level, we work together with many of the other business funding companies out there, and in many cases we have agreements that, you know, so that it's white labeled, so we're not actively allowed to tell you all the companies that we work with, but many of the companies that you've Googled and you've seen, we're actually the ones providing the funding on the back end. They're the front end. They sign you up, they get the money, and then we fulfill it because that's what we are known for, is for incredible fulfillment. Another reason why, if you go to our website, you see we actually print the prices of what we charge. There's a lot of these credit companies that do what we do. They won't even tell you how much they charge on their website. You got to wonder why. You got to wonder, if I have good credit, suddenly are they charging me a bit more because they know that the percentage will be higher? You know? So for us, it's the same for everyone, unless you sign up on one of these events, like what Brad's arranged today. So the only people that are going to get this, that get a discount with us, is people that sign up on an event like this, where Brad has secured a healthy discount for you. Okay, so Jose is saying, I don't have a business, but I want to start one. Will you help me with the corp documents? Absolutely. Yeah, that's something that we can help you with. That's one of the bonuses, is so that you can get access to those documents without paying anything. So absolutely, that is something that we can do to help you. Okay, Nick says, I have very good credit, but I'm carrying a bit of debt from my rehab business. Do you think you can get me funding in 30 days? He says, I have good credit, but I'm carrying a bit of debt. Nick, could you do a follow-up and let me know how much debt is that? Are you carrying? Is it more like 5,000, 10,000, or are we looking at 50 to 75,000? What, you know, how much are we looking at? All right, so Les asked, I'm in the middle of refinancing my house and can't have my credit held or pulled until I close. If I sign up now and take advantage of this offer, can you wait before pulling the credit? Absolutely, Les. That will not be a problem. Okay, great. Nick just came and responded. Okay, so Les, no, that will not be a problem. We do not need to pull the credit right away. Go ahead and get started. Okay, so Nick is saying that he's only carrying $25,000 of debt. Nick, that is very minimal. We'll, just like we spoke about with Jerry earlier, we'll move that money from your personal over to your business. You know, we understand that you already created the $25K from transacting business on your personal account, but that's not going to be a problem because that's minimal. We'll be able to create other business accounts, then we'll pay off the personal accounts that are carrying a $25,000 balance, and then we can move on from there and continue building more and more business credit for you. Okay, looks like Richard went ahead. Richard and his wife went ahead and got started for the membership. Welcome aboard. Manuel got started on, hold on, on the back-end funding program. Welcome aboard, Manuel. We look forward to working with you and gaining credit. It looks like Jim just got started on the membership. Well, actually a few minutes ago. Jim, you've received the bonuses as well. Everyone who's got started so far has received the bonuses. And out of the bonus spots that we still have available, not everyone today has signed up for the membership, so we still have more bonus spots available. Usually the membership spots go the fastest, but we still have more membership spots available. So if you're sitting on the fence and you're ready to get started, just let us know. Now, Brian and Jeff, we still have your numbers, so your bonuses are locked in. So you guys don't worry about it. You guys are still locked in. If you want to, Brian and Jeff, you can go to the website and just get started, or you know, we'll have somebody reach out to you here in just a few minutes. So you don't have to do anything. We'll just have somebody reach out to you if you don't direct us otherwise.
I saw a question from someone asking about their credit partner. So if you go with the membership and you want to add on a partner because you get that option to add somebody on at no extra charge, if you want to add them on, then all you do is you just log in as a client after you sign up, and you can fill their information out right there. So you don't need to know who they are right now. Somebody asked earlier if it matters if they have them right now. It doesn't. You can add that person in weeks from now if you'd like to, even months from now. If you don't find a credit partner, you still have that option though. So, you know, that's a way that people are getting way more funding than they would have if they only use their own credit. Some folks, some of the testimonials that we brought up actually are people who use credit partners. They didn't have good credit, and they used a spouse, a family member, a business partner, really anyone who has good credit that's close to you. You can use their credit and kind of piggyback with them, get access to funding right away. In the meantime, we're working with you on your personal credit, enhancing it if that's what's needed, or just growing more business credit for you under your good personal credit profile as well. So it's a way to access more funding, and also it's a way to split the membership fee. Some people like to do that with their partner. They'll split the $31.50 down the middle and get a really great deal when you do that. So if that's an option, take advantage of it. If not, you have it in the future. Maybe after Thanksgiving, you'll find a credit partner at a family reunion. Who knows? Okay, so Tanya says his FICO score different than your credit score from the 3 bureaus. So basically, when we talk about your FICO score, we're talking about the score from the 3 bureaus. So it's essentially the same thing in this context. So when we say 730, if you're going somewhere like creditchecktotal.com and you're looking at your score, then they're going to show you all 3 scores. But if you go somewhere like Credit Karma, then you're only going to see one bureau, and that bureau happens to be TransUnion, which is usually a lot higher than the others. So it just depends on what credit monitoring that you're using, Tanya. But if you're looking at your credit and you're seeing a 730 FICO, you should go ahead and get started. It's up to you what option you use. Yeah, if you're in that vicinity, even if you're above a 680 or in that area, you should get started. Many of our clients don't have the 700s, the 800s that we need until they start working with us. That's what we specialize in. We're not just obtaining funding, but we're building credit. That's why we're called credit card builders, because we're building people's credit. We've had people from other countries come to our program and get access to 100,000 plus, and they didn't have anything at all in their personal credit, and that's even worse than having bad credit at times, because they didn't have any history at all, and we had to start from scratch. So in your case, if you're at about a 500 credit score, 600 credit score in that area, then you will need the credit repair. You're going to need it, and it's going to take time, and it would cost you money. It would cost you a lot more money if you didn't do it with us. But if you get started with us, you get everything in a package deal. You know you're dealing with a reputable company. You know you're going to get results, and everything that's being promised is going to be delivered. So with that being said, it kind of makes it the obvious choice to get started, because if you need the help, you have bad credit, you need the funding, you might as well just do it, get it out of the way. It's a small fee. Credit repair can cost $3,000. We've heard of clients talking about being with Lexington Law for 3 years, getting charged $100 a month or $70 a month, whatever it is that they're charging. So you don't want to do that. You work with us, you avoid all that. You take all the guesswork out of it. We improve your credit. You can bring on a partner. If you don't have one now, you can do it in the future. But we improve your credit, and then we get you access to funding. Sometimes it takes a couple of months. Sometimes it happens within the first 45 days. But you don't get charged anything extra if it takes a little bit longer. If it takes us longer to work on your file than it does for another client who already had good credit, we don't charge you anything extra. So that's something that's pretty cool. We're not charging you by the month or by the hour. You're getting it all in a package deal, and all the services are going to be included that you need.
And when we first started doing this, and this was a couple years before we met Brad, we were actually charging $1,500 an hour for this. The average client was paying anywhere from $15,000 to $20,000. And that was 4 hour. We just did it hourly. We didn't charge on the back end. We didn't charge a membership. We just said however many hours it takes us, we charge $1,500 an hour for our consultant team, and it took X amount of hours. And so we've really compiled this down into a program that we can put a lot of people through. That's what we are good at. First of all, we're very open on the qualifiers. You need to know how to qualify, and basically anybody qualifies. The question is, how long do you want it to take? Will it take you 1 month? Will it take you 1 week? That's the only question. If I have bad credit, I need to get something fixed. Yeah, you didn't create that bad credit overnight. Don't expect it to get fixed overnight. So anyone and everyone can be helped. The question is, are you willing to wait the month or the 2 months or whatever the case is that your consultant tells you where your credit is at, what they can obtain for you. So now if you have a 700, or a 680 score, then you're definitely in the ballpark. If you're a little bit below that, then you're close. All you need to do is have us work on the credit and enhance your profile. Want something that we're very good at, enhancing profiles, building out a credit report so that the person's overall report is more balanced and more. There's multiple accounts on the report. Some folks come to us with very little overall credit. And so what we do is we create a more balanced report by adding other credit accounts, and clients just love this. I mean, they love getting access to. One client, we helped them set up with a HELOC on their home. Another client was set up with some other personal credit cards at 0% rates and balance transfer checks and everything. And, and so each situation is different. Now, we don't really want to do personal credit building, but if we need to build your credit in order to help you out, then we do that. And the truth is, we're very good at it. We know what the qualifications are to get you approved on the business credit, and so we simply set that up on your personal credit. Anyone and everyone can get there, and we've helped out so many different businesses, so many different people from such a wide variety of situations that it really boils down to one thing: the willingness of the business working with us. If they are willing to go through the program, they're going to get access to credit. If they're not willing to go through it, then don't even sign up. If you're not looking at this program as something that it's not something you're going to get in one day. Tomorrow you're not going to get $250,000, but if you're looking at it that over the next couple months I'm going to get access to my credit, and you're understanding all of the variables that go along with this, then you're just going to love this program. And as you love it, more and more credit is going to come in. Every time we do another batch, more credit's going to come in, and more credit's going to come in. I mean, heck, we literally will have clients tell us sometimes, hey, I'm at 300 grand. I'm good for right now. I am good. I don't know what else to do with the credit for right now. I need to come up with more investment programs and so on and so forth. And so we have to hold off for them. And those are extreme cases, and they happen. So let's see. Okay, so it looks like Jose or Josue got started with us. It looks like Mr. Preacher. I don't know if he's a church organization or whatnot, but looks like he just got started with us. And Rob got started with the back-end funding option. Excellent. Rob, we'll help you with that.
Hey, real quick.
No, well, Rob just wants to know.
Real quick.
He got started on back-end funding, but he's not 100% sure if he qualifies. Rob, you did good. Our consultants will look through that, and they'll let you know. Just make sure that you go and get the information filled out on the website.
Okay, great. And folks, if you're not sure if you qualify, or if you're not sure, if you're thinking you're not going to be able to make the payment to get started and to do this, then I can tell you right now that it's not going to work out for you in the long run, period. Because how are you not able to make this payment, but you expect to be able to make the payments on the borrowed money when you're borrowing $100,000, $200,000, and you're putting that into a marketing campaign, or you're investing it in a real estate property, or whatever it might be that you're doing? If you can't even make this payment, then you're definitely not going to be able to make the payment back on the funding that you use. So you might as well just log off now. But the truth of the matter is, I don't want you to do that. I want everyone to get started and use this, but you've got to see the value in it. You've got to understand that this fee that we're charging cannot be the reason that you don't get started, because the fee that we're charging is so reasonable. We've got affiliates, we've got partners telling us that we need to charge more. And, we're just not really interested in that. We'd rather help as many people as possible. Like Ari said, we used to charge by the hour, and we've totally changed our model. We don't operate like that, and we haven't for years. Our goal, our purpose, and our vision is to help as many small business owners, entrepreneurs, investors out there access the funding that they need. And we're also trying to make a living ourselves, but our main goal, of course, and vision is to help as many people out there. So we charge a reasonable fee. We don't charge an astronomical fee. There's plenty of companies out there that are charging double what we charge, and a lot of our partners and our referrers know that, but they choose to work with us and make less money because they want their clients to get the help they need. They want their clients to access the funding so they can go and invest in the real estate or the different passive income programs or training programs or whatever it might be. So, the money can't be an objection. That's the whole point. The whole point of the call and the whole point of this program is the fact that money is the problem, and it can't be the problem with getting started because the fee is small, we have payment options, and the value outweighs the fee that we have. So you got to look at it from the right perspective. If you can't afford it, it's most likely because you're not prioritizing it and you're not seeing the value in it right now or understanding it. So if you have any questions, let us know. Come to the questions area. It looks like a couple other came in while I was talking. Nick just goes on to say, I'm trying to pay by check, but when I put in a bank name, it asks for a valid email address. Okay, well, make sure that you got your email in there properly. Make sure you've input your email address properly and there's no space before or after or something simple like that. But usually it goes through pretty easily. So if you could put your phone number in, Nick, and if you did already try submitting it through, our system probably already caught that registration, but the payment might not have gone through. So just put your phone number in and we'll give you a call. And just for peace of mind, everyone who's gotten started, you're going to be getting a phone call over the next 24 hours, and you've already gotten an email with your login information. Just log in, fill out your information, move on to the next steps. Literally, you're going to be able to schedule your consultation. You're going to be able to schedule your consultation as soon as you set up your account within the next 5 minutes. So for those of you who've already gotten started, you're probably filling your info out right now. Once you do that, you're going to be able to then schedule your consultation right then and there from the back end of the website, from your login. So you're going to be moving forward very quickly. So, and that's also where you can put your partner's information in as well, in the same area. Okay. Deidre says, thank you. I love your program. I'm signing up. Okay, Deidre, thank you. We look forward to working with you. Deidre then sent in a question earlier. If I have more than one business, can I get business credit for more than one business at a time? Simultaneously, I mean. The answer to that is yes. Ideally, you want to focus on one at a time, get the best results as possible out of one by focusing on one at a time, and then going to the next venture, next business, and creating funding there. That's how we would normally do it. But we can do it simultaneously, and you can build the business credit simultaneously while you're building the corporate credit through Dun & Bradstreet. Those are two different types of credit, and you can build them at the same time. So you can access zero interest cash credit from the bank, and you can access credit that is vendor specific to places like Dell, Home Depot, Lowe's, Amazon. You can build those both simultaneously, but we usually want to keep it under one business at a time and keep our focus as honed in as possible. Okay, Lynn says, thank you so much. I've already signed up. Have a great day. Great, Lynn. So the bonus spots are going quick. If you're on the fence and you're just hoping that you get the bonuses and you want to confirm, come to the questions area and you can confirm. We'll let you know before you sign up because we have had quite a few people get started. Let's see. So, Rich, if you want to register and have a partner, it's the same thing. Just go to the link, sign up, and then you can put the partner's information in after you sign up, after you log in as a client. Very simple, and you'll have that option in the future as well. So, okay. So Brandon asked if we help with personal credit repair. I think we got to this one already. The answer is yes, we can help with personal credit repair if that's what you need, like Tanya and anyone else on the call who has a low credit score right now. Then you just need to take just some different steps than other people. Some people can move right to applications. Some people need to some people need to move to removing the derogatories from their report. They need to move to that phase, So if you sign up and you have negative items on your report, that's what you'll need to focus on first, get those items removed, and then you can get access to the large credit lines that we're talking about. So obviously, we want to make sure people understand this up front. That's why we have two different programs, one for people who qualify and one for people who don't qualify. So put your phone number in. We're going to go ahead and wrap up the call. Looks like questions have slowed down. If you didn't already put your phone number in, if you'd like to secure your spot and get started, because we're going to go ahead and wrap up the call. We're going to give you a call for those of you that did put your phone number in. We're going to give you a call right after this webinar ends. So go ahead and put that in. We're going to leave the comments and questions area open so you can send it through. But I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined us today. Ari or Brad, if you have any last words, now's a good time. But thank you, Brad, for putting this on for your people. We really appreciate it. And again, we appreciate everyone taking time out of their day to join us. We hope you got a lot out of the call, and we look forward to working with those of you who did take action and get started on this. If you haven't gotten started yet, put your phone number in. We're going to give you a call, and we're going to sign you up after this webinar ends. I see a few people just put their phone numbers in, so stand by. Please answer the phone. It's frustrating when we call and people don't answer, so make sure you're there. Make sure you answer. We're trying to get through as many people as possible, and we've got another webinar coming up, so check your email and stand by your phone. We'll be giving you a call. And again, thank you, folks, for joining us. Thank you, Brad, for putting this on again, and we hope everyone got a lot out of it, and we hope you all have a great day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Ari. You guys rock. And thanks again to all my folks for joining us. Hope you got some value out of this. And for those of you that get started, I know you're going to be extremely pleased with the results. So take care, everybody. And that's it. We'll see you next time.